Hi everybody. For those of you that have not met me, I am Kyla and you would have been receiving some emails from me this week. I like to come in firstly just to introduce myself because I know for many people it is challenging to ask for help and to reach out for help within changing and challenging times. I want to encourage you that no matter what is going on right now, to give yourself some time, some presence and some patience to move through what I'm showing you now, which is the grief cycle. The interesting thing, I guess, for where each of you sit right now is that I actually started to use this slide a lot through 2020 and 2021. So as kind of a collective in terms of society right now, because of all the change, the uncertainty, the transitions, the lockdown, the restrictions that we've had, being away from so many loved ones, friends and family, in some way we were already going through this grief cycle. What it does by knowing it, I hope, is allows you to understand that you're not alone. No matter how grief is rising for you, how you are feeling it at this moment in time, our emotions are energy in motion. It literally takes 60 to 90 seconds for an emotion to move through our body. However, unfortunately, we live within societal times that still tell us that it's bad to feel sad or that we don't want to feel anger, frustration, any of these shock emotions that come in when we either go through the grief or loss of a loved one, a friend or a colleague, or even the grief and loss of some of our freedoms that has been a really natural part of the last 2 years. Some of you may have been away from family and loved ones for 2 years. I myself personally, my nana passed away last year and we had to do a Zoom funeral. And it was a really challenging time to actually allow myself to be able to grieve when we hadn't really been able to say goodbye. So there are so many cases like this. So I'm here today to just say, please give yourself patience and permission to move through this in whatever way you need at this moment in time. And so be really patient with yourself. Start to get curious about what you need in this moment to move through the grief cycle, knowing that it may be bringing up for you other parts of the emotions that haven't been fully processed over the last couple of years and even beyond that as well, because we aren't really taught how to process our emotions. And that's a big part of the work that I do, is like emotional regulation, but actually how do you grant yourself permission to know that it's okay to have all of these feelings through this moment in time. You'll notice that the grief cycle is very closely aligned to the human change curve, if you've ever seen that in any of your work. And basically we're moving through this at moments in time. It's not as linear as it looks. You can move back and forth between different stages, and you just might find that you have a mixed array of emotions coming up right now. Movement in any way or form is obviously really useful as well, because it's moving the energy and the emotions out of your body, through your body. So taking some time to ensure that you get off the computer sometimes as well. I wanted to just bring up some of the normal signs of grieving as well. When I was reflecting on these this week for you all, I also was contemplating how deeply this is how a lot of people have been feeling for the last 2 years. So you can see how aligned this is, this disbelief of what's going on, feeling restlessness. Maybe you feel like you're wandering aimlessly through your days. You can't really focus, you can't get concentration, your sleep might start being disturbed. You might feel this need to take care of others, but we want to make sure that you're also taking care of yourself and asking for what you need along the way as well. It is really common to have mood swings, to have fluctuations in your emotions through this time. Kindness and compassion with yourself, with each other, with these moments of being patient is going to be a huge saving grace as we move through this period in time, and particularly moving up and through the funeral time, but also knowing that sometimes you may feel the need for some normalcy, to actually sit down and do some work, to look at bringing some order and some structure into your day as well, so that you can start to feel like you're focusing on some of the things that are inside your control. having a really basic to-do list right now of the essential items you need to get done, while also bringing in some self-care. I'm going to share some videos on self-care next week as well, but just wanted to touch base to introduce myself, to remind you that there is support here along the way, and whatever it is that you are feeling or experiencing at this moment in time, please know that you are not alone. It is completely natural and normal and human to have these stress signs and symptoms, these emotional signs, and also these physical responses to grief, and particularly when it's so sudden in our lives. I am here to support in any way that I can. If you've got any questions, please reach out.